believe it. I don't really know what to say. I don't know why they've sent me out to do interviews because I've got no words. I'm just, so grateful to be a part of this team, to be a part of such a group of fighters, and to be in a Champions League final. I can't even believe I'm saying it, to be honest. So, it's not quite settled in yet, and obviously I know some of the other lads have a bit more experience of them. They're probably a little bit calmer than me, but the first time, my first year, I'm a little bit shocked. That's it. There's football's like that in terms of you don't win trophies or games with 11 players. It's a 25 team squad who come in every day and put the work in, and the best thing about how professional the boys are every day is what you see tonight. It pays off when Joselu comes on. He looks like he's played the full game. He's ready to take his chances. He's alert, he's awake, and all the other lads when they came on were brilliant. And it's so important to have a squad like that, and it will stand us in good stead.
So Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich, and as usual, the unexpected comeback, well, not that unexpected anymore, happened, and Real Madrid won the match. Bayern Munich started off with a 4-2-3-1, and so we got Neuer here, we got Joshua Kimmich at the right back, Ligt, Eric Dyer, Mazraoui, Pavlovic, Lemar, Leroy Sané, Jamal Musiala, Gnabry, and Harry Kane. Real Madrid actually started off in a 4-4-2 diamond. And so we got Lunin in goal. Ancelotti had made the decision that, even though Courtois is back, Lunin's going to start. Mendy, Nacho, Rudiger, Carvajal, Jude Bellingham, Cruz, Tchouameni, Valverde, Rodrygo, and Vinicius. The game started, Bayern weren't really in a 4-2-3-1. They were in a passive 4-4-2. Musiala up right next to Kane, so it looked somewhat like this sort of a situation over here. And sometimes, Leroy Sané would move up front, but that's still a 4-4-2. Real Madrid formed this sort of a diamond in the midfield. The idea basically was that Vinicius and Rodrygo were over here. So Bayern's idea basically was that, to get Kane and Musiala on the double pivot of Cruz and Tchouameni. Munich pressing was really passive, laid back. They wanted to counterattack into space. Real Madrid did was that they had plenty of options to get the ball to Cruz so that he could make these passes into space. And so, Real Madrid had most of the possession in this game. The advantage of this is that, Cruz, he can either make these short passes over here, or he can get this long pass through, and Vinicius and Rodrygo are the ones who are really good at making runs and making all these movements, switching their positions, and, even overloading the side. Real Madrid were attacking most of the game, and that's why they had most of the attacking chances as well. How Real Madrid made the overloads was this Bellingham who would drop into these positions over here, and so they would have this sort of a triangle here, and Vinicius would, because Bellingham was providing the width and all that, Vinicius could tuck inside, and they wanted to attack these central areas of Bayern whenever they got the gap. The farther away he is from goal, the tougher it gets, the closer he is in these central Zone 14 areas, the more dangerous Madrid are, basically. Once these overloads were formed, Madrid did form the overload on the left. It was Carvajal who would provide the width on this side. And because he's a really good, one of the few fullbacks who's really good at defending and attacking, he would be wide open over on this side because, the overload being formed on that side. They would get this cross way over here, switch the ball, and then initiate the attack from this side. If Vinicius is over here and the overload is being formed on this side of the pitch, Valverde or stay around here, move over here as well, or Carvajal attacking side, either one of the two. Rodrygo would then move to that side, be a part of the overload, and then they could have these third man runs over here, or have this sort of a man advantage. One of their objectives was to isolate Joshua Kimmich over here. It's really weak on the defense, so Vinicius versus Kimmich was a big mismatch. The main guy who was making these long, inaccurate passes was Toni Kroos over here. And because he was the one with the long-range pass option, so it was Leroy Sané who would jump up here, try to, close down that time and space for Kroos. Mendy was the guy making these darts into space. Vinicius was inside. That wasn't much of a problem for Bayern Munich because Kimmich versus Mendy, that wasn't really a mismatch. But in the second half, once Vinicius was pinned to this flank, it became a real big problem because he beat Kimmich every single time and made these moves into the box. And because Madrid's attacking structure, the fullbacks attacking, particularly Tchouaméni was one of the guys who was forming this back three at times. These spaces over here were wide open, and that's where Bayern looked to exploit through these runs by Sané and Gnabry initially before he went off injured, and Harry Kane, the guy dropping deep to become that false nine and provide that pass on the run. That's what Bayern looked to do. The game changed after the substitutions. It was 84 minutes on the clock. The environment of the Bernabeu was just crazy, and the roof was closed. Even a guy like Neuer came under pressure. With 6 minutes of regular time left, Thomas Tuchel basically decides to send on Choupo-Moting to replace Harry Kane. It looked really crazy at the time, but after the match, Thomas Tuchel did say that Kane's back froze up and he just couldn't continue any longer. Off to went Jamal Musiala, and he was substituted for the experienced Thomas Muller. Thomas Muller did create a goal in the end, but the thing is that, the whistle had gone, and the controversy, of course, is that, should the whistle have been blown? Well, obviously it shouldn't have, and the play should have been completed. But Madrid had basically switched off at that time, and that's why the goal happened. If they hadn't switched off, the goal looked unlikely, because Militao was on his man. So, you never know what happens in football. But if he hadn't switched off, the goal likely wouldn't have happened. Kim Min-jae was brought on. He had a shocker in the first leg. What did Real Madrid do? They sent on Luka Modric, another experienced guy who's still just going on and on like Toni Kroos. They sent on the athletic Camavinga. Brahim Diaz, you knew that he was going to create danger, the number 10 with all these runs and everything, so amazing stuff. And Joselu, and guess what? He wasn't supposed to be the guy. He was supposed to be that, bench player who could be, just useful for Ancelotti. Ancelotti actually wanted Kane at the start of the season. So everybody was wondering who's going to be Real Madrid's striker. Ancelotti played the whole season without a striker. But then he actually does bring on Joselu, and Joselu got 2 goals. Immediately after the changes, all these attackers are off for Bayern. There's no midfield. You got this back three. Basically, you got 6 guys in defense. 6 guys in defense and attackers. That's it. So how are you going to attack? And once the game turned, there was no way Bayern could do anything about it. And that was it. And guess what? Real Madrid made another comeback, just as they always do.